To that person that's waiting on God, waiting on that promise, waiting on whatever you're waiting on, I just pray and I beg that you continue to wait. You may not see it now, and frankly, we all don't see it. Even when it's the quietest, it's the most silent, even when it's the hardest, I pray that you continue to wait, because to endure God's delay can only bring more prosperity, can only bring more of a blessing, more of a miracle. Waiting on Him is one of the greatest things you can do, because even when you don't see, even when you don't know, even when you don't even hear from Him, He's still working. And to us, it's all a big coincidence, but that coincidence is really just God putting it together. That coincidence is our understanding of God working. Today, I got my coincidence of the day, of the week, probably of the month. I was listening to a sermon clip, and while I was listening to it, a conversation I once had about a year ago at this time popped into my head. I realized the coincidence right before my own eyes, watching that sermon clip, and that conversation led me into thinking how much I've changed since then, how much more aligned I am with that conversation. And that conversation led me to think about another reference that I had earlier this spring. And as I'm going through that conversation and that reference of that song in my head, that exact sermon clip I was listening to talked about Lazarus and rising from the dead. Like in that exact moment, as God was reminding me of those things in my mind, that exact conversation and that exact reference all led to me hearing the exact same thing in that sermon that was just being played. When you keep waiting, when you keep trying to hear from Him, when you keep your heart open, your mind open to Him, and when you let go, and you let go of your expectation, your way of thinking, your way of life, and when your soul rests in His arms, you'll stop diminishing the power that God has and the way He can move, the way He can do things, and you'll freely flow right into the promises that He has for you, that He's promised you, that He's told you, because it all comes together for good. Those coincidences turn into realities.